Hello and welcome to another Wake Vortex YouTube video. It's a miserable day today in Jersey, the island of Jersey, and we are taking a shortish flight today from Jersey to Bristol in the southwest of England. One of the reasons for doing this flight is a kind of catch-up really as to where we are with various apps that I've been using in virtual reality. I've made quite a few changes actually, and I'm going to try and go through some of those changes with you. Let's first of all get things going here because GSX sometimes takes a little while, particularly the baggage handlers, I think, are quite irritating, the amount of time they take to actually get things done. So I'm going to get things launched here, and I'll explain what's going on once we get started. So let's get on with the setting up of the actual aircraft with Flight Sim First Officer. I'll explain more for those who maybe not seen that as we go along, but just for now, let's get it going.
Starting pre-flight flow.
Our co-pilot will get on board the aircraft, not physically, you can't see her next to me, but she gets on and does some of the stuff, and we'll explain, as I say, more as we go along.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Quite a lot of stuff in the cockpit to show you. Say Intentions is the AI ATC program that I'm using now, and I'm totally happy with the way that the team have got behind it, and I'm making lots and lots of changes. Brian and his team from Say Intentions have been quite incredible in reacting to customer feedback, fixing bugs, adding features, and since we last did one of these, there's so many features been adding, I don't know actually where to start with you, but let's just start by telling you some of the simple stuff. So we're looking here at the VR panel of Say Intentions, which we can control the frequencies from and see the readbacks in text. So we don't have to write it down, although if you want to be absolutely real about it, you don't even need that panel in the way. But just for now, I thought I'd put it there just to show you what's going on. That's not my alarm clock waking me up. That's the first officer doing the checks around the cockpit. As you'll see down here, that's Flight Sim First Officer, which we saw in all our previous videos. She's doing the fire test, now doing the parking brake, attendant test, takeoff config test. All of the stuff in green has been done. All of the stuff in white is still to be done. All the stuff in purple is for me to do. There's the throttle test going now. Left and right. I'll be doing the programming of the flight management computer. Today we're not in an Airbus, we're in the... there's the alarm going again. Let her do that, get it out of the way. We're in the PMDG Boeing 737-800, which I'm very, very fond of. It's like flying a real aeroplane. I like the Airbus, don't get me wrong, but I do love flying the Boeings. It feels a lot more flying an aircraft to me and not programming a computer. But anyway, let's ignore that for now, the Boeing versus Airbus argument, and get on with it. So a short flight today in horrific weather from Jersey to Bristol. We're going to use Say Intentions to provide the ATC. Two main things to note about Say Intentions since we last spoke, apart from the many, many improvements they've made to the actual response times, clearances, taxi instructions, and all of that stuff. They've added two quite big features. One is multiplayer. Now, this is not what you might think it is for now. Don't get too excited. This is basically people who, like me, have been on Say Intentions, and they've allowed their voices that they've been using as they've been doing their flights to be recorded and reused by Say Intentions. Now, the brilliance of that is that is geographically... That's my co-pilot going outside. She's going to get absolutely soaked. The brilliance of this multiplayer thing is that not only is it real people that have done real flying on Say Intentions, but it's geographically accurate. So wherever you are in the world, you will only get the multiplayer chat from people that have been at those locations. So for example, in a moment, we will only hear people talking to Jersey controllers, and as we move through the frequencies, that chat will move with them. So people who talk to the ground controller or the tower controller, they will move with them. I hope that makes sense to you. So you're not just getting random chatter, you're getting very specific, localized chatter by real Say Intentions pilots that have been on the network in these locations. So you hear that as we go along. Some are quite funny, to be fair. I don't think when they first started this, they realized that you can opt out of this, by the way. You don't have to allow your voice to be used in this way, but I think most people probably have. The other biggie is they've got cabin crew involved now. So the aircraft has a virtual cabin crew, which you'll hear announce various things throughout the flight. And again, that's very specific. You'll hear the cabin crew talk about our departure and our destination, and I've not had to program anything. All of that information comes from the SimBrief flight plan. So that again is, I think, a stroke of genius by Brian and the team at Say Intentions. This will make sense the more we go on, but for now, just let's get on with programming the aircraft. So we'll start by getting into the FMC. Our co-pilot is out doing the walk around at the moment. Let's do the POSINIT here. And passengers are boarding, by the way. There they are outside the aircraft. So our POSINIT to reference airport is Jersey, obviously. EGJJ. Then and there. Then we'll move to page 2, bring the GPS left down, go back to page 1, put the IRS position in there. Then we'll put the route in and request the flight plan from SimBrief. We'll set the payload and we'll set the fuel. That's taken from the SimBrief flight plan. There's the route.
Welcome on board. Good afternoon.
So we'll wait for that to do its magic. There's the request has gone in there for the route. That should come back momentarily. Now we can get it loaded in.
This way, please. This way.
At the moment, by the way, the catering's being done, just been done, in fact. The fueling has been done outside the aircraft. There it is. And the passengers are boarding, and shortly the baggage will be done as well. Right, so route uplink is ready. Load. Give it a couple of seconds to uplink it.
Good afternoon.
Then we'll get a prompt. Activate and execute.
Good afternoon.
So the route has gone in now, that's correct. Jersey to Bristol, BMA 84 Victor. We're flying into British Midland aircraft today. We can now do the PerfInit and similarly request that from SimBrief. Again, that takes a couple of moments just to come in. There we go, ready, load, execute. There is our PerfInit page. And we'll now go on and do the departure from Jersey on SimBrief panel, which is here. SimBrief panel, so it's Jersey 26 with a Scary 3 Alpha departure. That's what we're expecting, although we may be given something else entirely by Say Intentions, so don't assume that what's there is written in stone. Say Intentions is not on rails, as you've heard maybe about some other programs. Arrival Toja 1 Bravo into runway 27 at Bristol. Toja 1 Bravo. Execute. Okay, we'll probably have a discontinuity at the end. There it is. We'll just join that up for now. Okay, that's good. And we'll now just talk to Say Intentions and get our clearance. So we could first of all tune in the ATIS, which is 134.68. Now you can do that in the Say Intentions VR app by just pressing on this. If you look here, it goes to yellow, and if you press on that, that will put the ATIS frequency
feed
into the comm radio.
Temperature 20.
So
Dew point 17. QNH 1011. Arriving and departing runways 26, 26. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if basic information service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Oscar.
Information Oscar.
Jersey Airport, information Oscar. 1100 Zulu.
And 10.
276 at 9er. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, broken at 1100 feet.
Not good.
Solid overcast at 2600 feet.
Ouch.
Broken at 9600 feet. Temperature 20. Dew point 17. QNH 1011.
Aircraft looks good.
Arriving and departing runways 26. Visual approaches in use.
Okay.
Advise on course heading, altitude.
That's good.
and
So
if
we'll
basic
now
information
contact the
service is
ground
requested,
frequency
read back all runway and hold short
121.905.
instructions.
And you'll see that's been put in now to the active comm radio down there. Very useful little feature, actually, have to be said. That's done. Let's now contact the ground controller and get our clearance to see whether it is in fact the same as we were expecting. Meanwhile, the co-pilot's come back in from the walk around. It is continuing with all of this stuff here: packs, isolation valve, engine bleeds, and all of the rest of the stuff written down there. So let's talk to ground 121905. Jersey ground, hello, Midland 84 Victor, stand 10, requesting IFR clearance to Bristol. And hopefully they'll come back and give us a clearance. Stall warning test.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey ground, information Oscar is current. Cleared to Bristol via the SCR 3, Alpha departure, then as filed. Departure runway 26, initial climb to 4,000, departure on 125.205, squawk 2346.
Okay. We're cleared to Bristol via the Scurry 3 Alpha departure, runway 26. Departure on 125.205, initially 4,000 feet on the squawk 2346 in Midland 84 Victor. Okay, and you'll see that's also written down here, which is very useful. You can just read that back as is and you'll get it spot on, which is great for practice.
Midland 84 Victor, read back, correct? Expect runway 26. Report ready for push and start.
Normal and auto.
Window.
We report ready for push and start, Midland 84 Victor.
Pressurization mode selector.
Auto.
Flight instruments.
Set.
Parking brake.
At the squawk,
Fuel control switches.
23.
Midland 84 Victor, roger.
Cut off.
Report ready for push and start.
Completed.
Pre-flight checklist complete.
Meanwhile, everyone else is getting busy here. That's the co-pilot done the pre-flight checklist. Looks like
Good evening,
the...
ladies and gentlemen.
And
On
here's
behalf
one of our
Midland
announcements.
Airways, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you aboard Flight 84 Victor with service to Bristol. As we prepare for departure, please ensure all carry-on items are securely stowed either in the overhead compartments or completely under the seat in front of you. Be cautious when placing or removing items from the overhead bins, and let us know if you need any assistance. To help us get underway swiftly, please take your seats as soon as you've stowed your belongings. For those seated in the exit rows, kindly review the exit row seating requirements on the safety instructions card in your seat pocket. You may be required to assist the crew in an evacuation. If you're unable or unwilling to perform these functions, please let us know so we can reseat you. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the flight.
There we go. That's the first of the boarding announcements from the flight crew. So, where are we up to? Well, let's continue programming the flight management computer. Let's get our performance tool sorted here. Import from OFP. It's a runway 26 departure. The runway is wet. No doubt about that. Import the data from the aircraft. Rating optimum, CG, yes. Weight packs on. Our weather will get in. That's good. And we'll calculate the takeoff performance, which is here. So, let's go now to our init ref. N1 limit. Takeoff of 1 with 32 as the selected temperature and flaps 5. So it's takeoff 1 D rate with 32 as a selected temperature. And moving on, it's a flaps 5 takeoff. There's the CG, and that should produce for us 125, 134, 143. bad, we're nearly there. That's about right. And that's done. We can now get our winds, which we haven't yet done. Route data wind request. Let's do that. I think the caterers and the baggage handlers have finished. They have, unbelievably. And there go the stairs, which is great. So the winds request coming in here. Okay, that's ready. We'll load that. And execute it. Go to our descent forecast and load that as well. Request the descent winds. And load that as well. So we are good to go, I think, with the FMC. Great. So let's continue. So everything's ready to go here. We can begin our before start flow and call for pushback.
Initiating before start flow.
Let's talk to the ground controller. Midland 84 Victor is ready for pushback and start.
Midland 84 Victor, pushback and start approved. Expect runway 26.
Push and start approved, expecting runway 26, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, so at the moment we're waiting for the APU to spool up. There it goes there. Once that is done...
Jersey ground, good afternoon. Channel X4 to Alpha Golf, clear of runway 26. Requesting
there you go.
A gate allocation, please.
That's one of the multiplayer that I was talking about. That's a real person who's been using Say Intentions, who's been to Jersey and was on this frequency. So that's absolutely brilliant and adds so much immersion as far as I'm concerned. So you'll basically hear other real people talking to the Jersey controllers. Obviously not in real time.
Channel X4 to Alpha Golf, Jersey ground. Good afternoon, taxi to parking at your discretion. Have a great evening.
Fantastic. Love that.
Parking at our discretion, and thank you. Have a good evening.
So any moment now, once we get the ground power sorted, we will get the pushback man or woman coming along and sorting that out for us. Let's just have a little look outside.
November 2923 November, request parking to general aviation.
There we go, that's another one. There's an interesting parking there of a pushback tug. And here comes our pushback crew. There she is in the building there.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door.
Closed and locked.
Fuel 5171 kilograms.
Checked.
Passenger signs.
Bypass pin inserted.
MCP. Speed 100. Heading 265. Altitude 10000.
Set.
Takeoff speed V1 133. VR 134. V2 143.
Checked.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
3 and 0.
Anti-collision lights.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Fabulous. So we're waiting for our pushback. Bring up GSX here. And we'll have a standard pushback.
Release parking brakes, please.
Releasing the parking brake.
Commencing push. All engines are clear. Start at will.
And we'll now go through the engine start procedure.
Starting engines.
You can see there's a lot of stuff to do here.
Starting
And
engine 2.
that's why we do need our co-pilot.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard Midland Diamond Flight 84 Victor with service from Jersey to Bristol. My name is Erica, and I am your lead flight attendant today. Joining me in the cabin are Brian, Melanie, and Abby.
Engine
We are here
2
to ensure
started.
you have a safe and comfortable flight. As we begin
Engine
our
2 cut
pushback,
out.
please ensure that you are seated with your seatbelts securely fastened. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed away. This includes laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. We ask that you follow all crew member instructions at all times. Our flight time to Bristol is approximately 45 minutes,
Starting
cruising at an
engine 1.
altitude of 23,000 feet. The weather in Bristol is currently scattered clouds at 2,900 feet, broken clouds at 3,600 feet, and overcast at 4,200 feet with a temperature of 61 degrees Fahrenheit. In a few moments, we will be demonstrating the safety features of this Boeing 737-800 aircraft. Please give us your full attention, even if you are a frequent flyer. Your safety is our top priority. Thank you for choosing Midland Diamond. We hope you enjoy your flight.
That was the second cabin announcement for Pushback there. Several brilliant things to note in that. They got the departure at Jersey, the arrival of Bristol. I didn't have to tell them that. And they even gave us the accurate weather forecasts at both ends. So that's absolutely awesome. A very, very clever piece of work by the Say Intentions team.
Engine 1 started.
And by the way, that's free
Engine 1
with
cut out.
the subscription that you have for Say Intentions. These things just keep getting added. There's no extra cost for them. And there's a lot more to come, according to Brian and the team. So off go the Pushback crew. Sounds like some kind of 90s rap band. There she goes. Wait for the signal. There's the signal. The 143 is the V2 speed. Put that in there. 143. And we've initially been cleared to 4,000 feet. So let's put that into the altitude. And start now our before taxi flow.
Before taxi flow.
So the first officer is doing all of the items there in white. We've got one item left to do in purple, which is set the trim, which is 4.9. And we'll request taxi. Midland 84 Victor requesting taxi.
Midland 84 Victor, taxi to runway 26 via Juliet, Alpha, Alpha 4, Alpha, Alpha 3, Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha, Alpha 1.
Clear on the right.
Clear on the left.
Flow completed.
Taxi to runway 26 via Juliet, Alpha, Alpha 4, Alpha 3, Alpha 2 and Alpha 1, Midland 84 Victor.
Before taxi checklist.
Slightly convoluted
Generators.
taxi, but
On.
it's basically Alpha.
Auto.
But it's strictly correct because that's all those points there. Alpha 4, Alpha 3, Alpha 2.
Continuous.
Recall.
Checked.
Auto brakes.
The other thing of note to mention about Say Intentions is that there is now something called a taxi tuner, and basically the purchasers of Say Intention, who are good at these things, have basically been going around all the airports in the world and modifying the Navigraph data so that all the taxiways are accurately named. This is another genius masterstroke by the Say Intentions crew. So these airports are now modified, and they've done so many in the world now. I even had to go at doing one myself, so that all of these points are now accurate, whereas they're not necessarily the case in the data that they get from Navigraph. So that's another bonus, that people are taxi tuning each airport around the world, and literally probably thousands have been done by the people now that have bought the Say Intentions app. So well done to all of those for their hard work. So we are ready now for our flight control test. Okay, forward, full back, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full right, rudder, full left. That's done.
Checked.
Brake test.
Okay, we'll start to roll forward, release the parking brakes. 40% power, and we'll try the brakes.
Checked. Before taxi
There we go.
checklist complete.
Okay, so we're clear to taxi. I hope you kind of get the idea here that all of this stuff, for those who are VR flyers and know how sometimes it's quite difficult in VR to do things in the cockpit, see apps, write stuff down, look at charts and maps accurately. You see this is all now coming together beautifully. If anyone has any questions on any of this, don't hesitate to ask in the YouTube chat. I'm more than happy to answer any questions I can. No point in everybody trying to reinvent the wheel. I've spent many painful hours trying to sort all this stuff out. But I have to say the key to this, when not using VATSIM, obviously, has been Say Intentions, which I think is just a masterstroke. And even when using VATSIM, because of course, not always do you maybe start with a VATSIM controller, then maybe they log off or there's nobody and you get passed on to Unicom. You can then pick that up with Say Intentions at any point during your flight and they will carry on seamlessly instead of VATSIM, which I think is another piece of genius. This, by the way, for those who've never seen any of my videos, is Open Kneeboard, a completely free app, and I'm writing on a tablet with a pen, and that's what you're seeing there. This is also Open Kneeboard, bringing these applications into the cockpit. So I've got 3 kneeboards, basically. There they are. And just by looking at them, like that, they expand and show up beautifully. If, for example, I wanted over here to check that I'm recording the stream, I can overlook here and I can just change these pages. Then I get to my streaming PC, and there it is. And I can check that that's actually recording, which is beautiful. That's Active Sky Weather, which I can see because I'm using the Active Sky web app and I'm picking that up in Open Kneeboard. Again, very, very helpful indeed. Obviously, if you're using VATSIM, you'd get the weather in the real world, but I'm using Active Sky now. I've set these conditions specifically today so that we have an interesting flight, so that wouldn't be picked up by any of the other programs like Navigraph. It would only do the real world weather, whereas this is not the real world weather right now. So I'm using Active Sky to pick up its own generated weather there. And we'll go and have a look at that in a moment, just before we depart runway 26. So what should happen now is, as we go along here on the taxiway, as we get towards the end and near the holding position, Say Intentions should work out that we're near the hold and pass us on to the tower. That's another improvement that wasn't there last time we spoke, and I, among many other people, asked for, and that now seems to be working nicely. There's our scary departure. Basically takeoff and a right turn out.
Midland 84 Victor, contact tower on 119.455, safe flight.
And as if by magic, contact tower on 119.455, Midland 84 Victor. Another little thing here in VR, I've managed to assign a button to switch the active and standby radios. So Say Intentions puts the standby frequency into the standby there, so 119.455, that's ready to go, and I can switch those either by doing that, obviously, and pressing there, or if I'm just looking ahead, I can switch them with a button, and that's ready to go now as well. Another little time saver in VR. Lovely pink aircraft over there. I don't know where those textures are coming from. I have a few of those. Very strange. They're quite cool if you like pink. So here's the hold Alpha 1. Tower Midland 84 Victor is at the hold Alpha 1, runway 26 and ready for departure.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey Tower, winds 276 at 9er, runway 26, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 26, Midland 84 Victor. So let's start the
Before takeoff flow.
full takeoff flow. Landing lights coming on. Runway turn off lights. LNAV is going to get armed.
Midland 84 Victor, cleared for takeoff, runway 26.
Clear for takeoff, runway 26, Midland 84 Victor.
26.
That's the RAS call that we're approaching runway 26.
Flow completed.
And before takeoff checklist.
Flaps.
On runway.
Set.
Trim.
26.
Set.
Transponder.
Set.
Cabin crew. Cabin crew prepare for takeoff.
A little call.
Notified.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Okay, so that's good. Flaps are set. Landing lights are on. We're squawking. Got rejected takeoff. That's all good to go. So 50% with brakes off. Engines are stabilized. And toga.
Thrust set.
Checked.
Speed alive.
Checked.
knot.
Checked.
V1. Retain. Positive rate.
Gear up.
LNAV on. Gear up.
FSFO working in the background there. Gears up. 15 degrees of pitch.
Vertical navigation.
VNAV is on. Next will be acceleration altitude.
Acceleration altitude.
There you go. Autopilot will come on.
Midland 84 Victor, contact departure on 125.205.
Autopilot is on. Contact departure on 125.205, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, over to departure we go. Departure, hello, Midland 84 Victor with you, passing 3000.
Flaps up.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey Control identified. Cleared direct Scary.
Flaps up.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey Control, climb and maintain flight level 120.
Clear direct Scary and flight level 120 for Midland 84 Victor. 120. Need to delete that restriction. Direct Scary. And after takeoff checks.
Midland 84 Victor, contact Jersey approach on 118.555.
Flow completed.
Jersey approach on 118.555, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, VNAV,
After
LNAV.
takeoff checklist. Engine start switches.
Off.
Packs.
On.
Auto brakes.
Off.
Landing gear.
Up and off.
Flaps.
Up.
After takeoff checklist complete.
All good. Jersey, hello, Midland 84 Victor with you, climbing to flight level 120. For some reason the auto throttle is not armed. That's why we had a problem with the toga.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey approach, good evening.
Schoolboy error. And up we go above the clouds.
Midland 84 Victor, Jersey approach, climb and maintain flight level 170.
Climb and maintain flight level 170, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, 170. And again, for those who've not seen any of my streams, I'm dialing all of this stuff in from a Behringer X-Touch Mini, or two of them in fact, which are rotary controls and switches, all mapped to various functions in the aircraft. Not expensive, a little bit of setting up to do, but a godsend in VR. So I'm physically turning knobs for the altitude, heading, and all that kind of stuff. So we're passing 10,000 feet shortly. Our co-pilot will do the actions.
Passing 10,000 feet.
There we go, landing lights coming off, runway turn-off lights coming off, taxi light coming off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your lead flight attendant, Erica speaking.
There we
We've
are.
just reached 10,000 feet. The use of approved portable electronic devices is now permitted. For your continued safety, please keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, even if the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. Thank you.
Again, more from the cabin crew. This has literally been added about 10 days ago, so it's still very much work in progress. American voices for now, that's again going to be sorted out by Brian and the team. And I was told today you can actually talk to the cabin crew. I've not tried that. Dare I try? I can't do that because I haven't assigned something to the intercom. There's an intercom push to talk, which I haven't yet assigned, so I can't actually do that.
Good. Midland 84 Victor, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230, Midland 84 Victor. I must remember to do that, to assign something to the intercom so we can talk back to the cabin crew. 230, we're still in VNAV mode, that's good.
Midland 84 Victor, contact Armour CM on 124.725.
124.725, Midland 84 Victor. Centre, hello, Midland 84 Victor with you, climbing flight level 230. Right, level 230.
Midland 84 Victor, Armour CM, good evening.
We've got a slightly different cruise level there. Just putting that into the FMC. Looking very nice indeed. Let's up our cruise speed when we eventually get there. Let's set it to 320 knots. Okay, as we head towards Skerry. So there's the active sky remote weather. Our wind at destination, 260 at 21 knots, gusting to 33, visibility 10 miles, clouds few at 146 feet, scattered at 1,046, broken at 3,400, heavy rain at Bristol, so not ideal. But that's very helpful to have the active sky remote weather there. What else do we have we can show you here? This is Auto FPS, which is doing our frames per second in the background, currently giving us 41. A Sky Dolly for recording a little later on. That's FSFO, which you've seen, and there's a little nav map showing us just here in the middle of the channel and on our way up towards Torquay, Plymouth area of the UK. All the other aircraft in there are FSLTL aircraft in orange and VATSIM aircraft in red. So if you're on the VATSIM network, you can see those on little nav map for those who are not familiar. What else do we have in here? Chrome, that's showing me literally my Chrome browser. That's the flight plan as filed in SimBrief.
84 Victor, Armour Sim, expect the ILS runway 27 approach into Bristol via the Toja 1 Bravo arrival.
Expect the ILS runway 27 approach into Bristol via the Toja 1 Bravo arrival, Midland 84 Victor, which is exactly what we've planned for. And we're approaching our top of climb, so we should start our acceleration now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your lead flight attendant, Erica, speaking. We have now reached our cruising altitude of 23,000 feet, and the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. For your continued safety, Midland Diamond requires that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. We will be coming around shortly with our snack and drink service. Thank you for choosing Midland Diamond, and enjoy the rest of your flight.
Again, a piece of brilliance there, because this is a Midland Diamond flight, and it's picked that up from the aircraft, which again is wonderful. There it is, the Midland Diamond. Lovely to see that livery again. Was a big fan of British Midland aircraft.
Centre 0 Charlie Mike at flight level 140.
There again, another multiplayer.
Craft 440 Charlie Mike, Armour CM
Great.
Center, roger.
Love it. That gives you such immersion, because those are real people. And that's not AI.
November 2923 November.
You can turn the amount of that up or down with a slider in the Say Intentions app itself, which is very helpful.
November 2923 November, Armour CM Center, good evening. Shellons QNH 1018.
Move that to our arrivals page now. Some calculations here. Runway 27 at Bristol. Not dry, it's wet. It's heavy rain, so I imagine there'll be standing water. Port weather. And calculate. Oh, that's very interesting. So, no credit for reverser there. They're all operative, in fact. Let's calculate it again. Yep, so if we use reversers, we can just about get into Bristol with standing water. Wow. I'm guessing if it was just raining and just wet, we'd get a slightly better margin. Yeah. Okay. But let's hope there's no standing water, I think, is the answer to that.
Midland 84 Victor, contact London Control on 132.905.
London Control 132.905, Midland 84 Victor. 12295 in the active. London Control, hello, Midland 84 Victor, flight level 230.
Midland 84 Victor, London Control, good evening.
Top of descent coming up in about 20 miles. 22 miles, in fact. Hopefully, Say Intentions will give us a descent based on that standard arrival. That's come from FSFO, who are telling us that we're approaching top of descent as well, which is good to know. So let's start having a look here, the Toja arrival, and let's get some stuff in for Bristol. Bristol 27, ILS runway 27, we'll add that to the route. We're not going by the Bristol VOR, but we'll put it in there anyway. And let's get the ground charts for Bristol on here too. Parking stands. And let's have a look at that Toja arrival. Here it is. Tojak, just on the south coast there. Flight level 70 by the Bristol NDB. Well, we'll not be going by the Bristol NDB, so what we'll probably do is, rather than routing over there, we will make a waypoint somewhere out here in order to intercept. But let's do that now. Have a look here. That's 063 straight to the Bristol NDB. So make it 080 at 25 miles, let's say. That's 27, so let's make it 080 at 30 miles. Let's put a waypoint somewhere here. So that's from Exmoor. So that's bring Exmoor down.
Piper Alpha 5 Tango identified.
So there's
QNH
Exmoor, we're going to say about
1010.
080 at 30 miles. Exmoor 080 at 30 miles. And we'll place that there. Then we're going to lose the Bristol NDB and put the final fix.
Midland 84 Victor, London Control, cleared for the Toja 1 Bravo arrival into Bristol. Descend and maintain flight level 070. QNH 1008.
Brilliant. Cleared for the Toja 1 Bravo arrival into Bristol. Descend and maintain flight level 70. And the QNH will be 1008 Midland 84 Victor. Okay, I'm going to intervene with speed here. I'm going to keep the speed up. So descend 70. Already past the path, so let's do a level change. Down to 70.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your lead flight attendant, Erica speaking.
1300 above the
We've
path
just
at the
begun our
moment.
initial descent into Bristol. The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. At this time, please return.
The aircraft's just slowing a little. Let's give it some help.
Our
Speed
cabin
brake
crew,
on.
including Brian, Melanie, and Abby, will be making one final round to collect any remaining trash or discarded items. Please pass any remaining service items to the flight attendants. Thank you for flying with Midland on Flight 84 Victor. We hope you had a pleasant journey.
There we go, that's starting to come back now. Now we'll start our descent flow. Co-pilot going around doing various things in the cockpit. You'll see them there. Setting auto brakes, engine start switches. Okay, we're 1300 feet above the path.
ILS set.
She set the ILS for us.
Flow completed.
Going back nicely onto the path now.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
That is for 70 at the Bristol NDB.
Checked.
Auto brakes.
Correction, yes, Bristol NDB.
Landing data. 1, 3, 4. Minimums. 2, 0, 0. Briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
We should have now created, just to get back to where we were here, we should have now created Exmoor 01, which is 30 miles out on a bearing of 080. So you'll see it there. If we go to the plan and step that forward, there we go, we've created it there. Still not far enough, to be fair. Could have been probably 35 or 40 miles out, actually would have been better. So let's do that again. Exmoor 080/40, and we'll put that there, execute it, and let's just get rid of that previous one by moving that there and executing it. Now let's have a look where we are. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. So that's joined up nicely and gives us a nice turn into the final approach fix. So we want to really be at Exmoor 02. Let's have a look at the ILS here now. Or Bristol. Just make some notes here about the ILS using the chart drawing facility here. Transition altitude is 6,000. Missed approach is climbing straight ahead to 3,000. Our decision is at 801 and our intercept is at 2,500. So let's put 801 in here. Again, using a physical knob on the controller to do that. 801 saves a lot of fiddling around with mice. 801. Put this back on our map. See where we are. Okay, But they're back on V now.
Navy on.
That'll predict us down to 2,500 at the final fix, so that's good. Because we're now below the path because we've changed this considerably now, and we're in flight level change, of course. But that's all good. That should find itself through nicely. 2,500. So let's see what kind of vectors we're given. That's a kind of odd arrival, really, that Tojac 1, in that it does overfly the airfield. So how Say Intentions will deal with it, I don't know. So we're going to self-vector ourselves for now. Chart at Bristol. Let's get the airport chart up. Parking stands, airport. There we go. Let's expand that. Open it up. The runway 27, we're probably going to end up all the way at the end here and down here to the main apron. We'll park in this area here. Right, let's have a quick look now. Here, a parking stand. Why not parking stand number 1? Seems as good as any. Just outline that there. Parking stand 1.
Midland 84 Victor, contact Cardiff radar on 125.855.
Cardiff radar on 125.855, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, Cardiff radar it is. Cardiff radar, hello, Midland 84 Victor with you.
Midland 84 Victor, Cardiff radar, good evening.
All quite happy, so we're going to be our turn here at Exmoor to Exmoor 2 that we've invented, which takes us out past the runway to about here on the map. So we can turn left into the closing fix, and hopefully Say Intentions will see what's going on there. We're supposed to be going to the Bristol NDB anyway, they're expecting that, so we're going to end up here instead, and I imagine they'll then give us a turn for the final fix. Let's see how that works out.
Midland 84 Victor, Cardiff radar, descend and maintain 5,000, turn right, heading 080 vectors for the ILS runway 27 approach.
Even better. Descend and maintain 5,000, turn right, heading 080 vectors for the ILS runway 27 approach. So even better than that, they're now putting us on a heading. So 080 on the heading. Heading select.
Heading select on.
5,000. Amazing. Which actually, if you see here, pretty much tallies with what I'd planned anyway. Look at that. In fact, I had planned 080, so that wasn't a bad guess at all. It's exactly what I planned. Spot on. That couldn't have worked out better. We actually put that in there as a 080, and that's exactly what they've given us. It's almost as if they knew. They were reading my mind. We're going to hit 5,000 here, which is about right.
Passing 10,000 feet.
Passing 10,000, on go all the lights.
Midland 84 Victor, proceed direct CF27, descend and maintain 2500 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 27 approach.
Proceed direct Charlie Fox 27, descend and maintain 2,500 until established on the localizer, and we're cleared for the ILS runway 27 approach, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, so that's going to be too tight as a turn, so we're going to stick on this for the moment and just make the turn at the last minute, but that's pretty good by Say Intentions, it has to be said. If we did that straight to CF27 now, we would have a
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
pretty steep
Erica, your
turn.
lead flight attendant. We have now descended below 10,000 feet as we prepare for our arrival into Bristol. At this time, please turn off all portable electronic devices and stow them until we have arrived at the gate. In preparation for landing, ensure your seat back is in the full upright position, your tray table is stowed, and your seat belt is securely fastened. Please also secure any carry-on items and pass any remaining service items and unwanted reading materials to the flight attendants. Thank you for flying with Midland on Flight 84 Victor. We hope you have a pleasant evening.
I think that's lovely. That's so good. And that's not an add-on program. It's part now of Say Intentions. There's some exciting stuff coming. Really is a marvellous program. And as you know, if you've been following it, they've made quite a dramatic price drop for Say Intentions. And that's because the price of the AI voices has come down, and Brian and the team have passed that price saving on to the end customer, as they always promised to do. Which I think, again, is excellent. I know I'm coming across as a bit of a fanboy, but I do think it's a very, very good start to an application. And the main thing about it is that the team, and particularly Brian, the lead developer and founder of all of this, is so accessible on the Discord and so open to suggestions and feedback. And that we could do with a lot more of that in the flight simulator world. I'm not going to name names, but some apps that I use and love, if you dare ask a question, it's treated like you've killed their firstborn child, which is unfortunate. Some people do have an unfortunate, I wouldn't call it an arrogance, but they don't like being told or asked a question where you maybe question that the app isn't working quite as well as it could. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? I think you probably know a couple of those yourself. But that's not the case with Say Intentions, which is why I'm so pleased with it and was quite happy to stump up the money for a year in advance. I know it's not cheap, but hey, it means I'd go without a couple of drinks less a month, then so be it. Right, so meanwhile, back in the real world, let's slow now. We're in VNAV at the moment, but let's do some speed intervention. And we'll slow to 220 knots here, I think. And we'll go into vertical speed mode. Keep that coming down. And we're clear to 2,500, so let's put that into the altitude window. All looking good. So we're going to go pretty much where we'd already planned to go, to there, and then a left turn into CF27. Weather's got some gaps in it, which is looking good. Let's just check that, what it's saying. 260 at 21 knots, gusting 33, sporty but pretty much down the runway. Visibility now is 10 miles, cloud few at 146, scattered at 1046, broken at 3446, and heavy rain at Bristol, so it's still not the greatest thing in the world. So there we are. Let's put the ILS up here. When we get to about here, we'll make a turn to the closing fix of 27, which we should be entering at about 2,500 feet. And we're nearly there. We're effectively on a downwind leg now.
Easy 37 Delta, contact Bristol approach on 125.65.
Contact Bristol approach on 125.65, Easy 737 Delta.
Again, a real pilot with an AI controller. More British voices, by the way, coming for this, something I've moaned about. A lot of Americans and Australians kicking about on the AI network at the moment on Say Intentions, but they're doing a lot of work on new British voices, so that's good to hear too.
Bristol Radar, hello, this is Scope Charlie India Foxtrot Yankee.
Local flight to Bristol. Let's make a turn in now. In fact, we could just go the F27, direct, execute, and LNAV.
LNA
Golf
on.
Charlie India Foxtrot Yankee Cardiff radar, roger.
Let's do our approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Barrow reference.
1013.
10.
Should be on local QNH, I would think, by now.
Checked.
Approach checklist complete.
Yeah, transaction altitude at 6,000, so that's not been done by the co-pilot. 007. Localizer arm.
Transition altitude.
Checked.
Ah, there we go. It was set wrong in FSFO. My fault. Okay, let's have flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
And bug flaps 5, so we're
Midland 84
localizer.
Victor, contact Bristol approach on 125.65.
Bristol approach 12565, Midland 84 Victor. A late handover, I would say that was. Bristol, hello, Midland 84 Victor, just becoming established, runway 27.
Midland 84 Victor, Bristol approach. Good evening, QNH 1008.
QNH 1008, Midland 84 Victor. There we go.
Midland 84 Victor, Bristol approach. Contact Bristol Tower on 133.85.
Tower 133.85, Midland 84 Victor. Yeah, that was a late handoff there from Bristol, from Cardiff to Bristol. So now we're on tower. And we can arm the approach. We now have VOR lock. Arm the approach.
Approach mode on.
We're 7 miles to go. Bristol Tower, hello, Midland 84 Victor with you. And the runway's visible. Let's go.
Flaps
That's 15. And we can take the gear down. Half a dot above.
Gear down.
Midland 84 Victor, Bristol Tower, winds 250 at 13. Runway 27, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 27, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, we're on the glide slope, on the localizer. Let's have full flap now. So let's have the speed back now at 134. We're going to give it 5 knots over, so 139. That's VREF plus 5. Okay.
Midland 84 Victor, winds 250 at 13. Runway 27, cleared to land.
Runway 27, clear to land, Midland 84 Victor. Okay, so parking stands. So on GSX where we're going. And on that bridge Midland. Right. 1500 above ground. Landing checklist.
Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
Armed.
Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
Set.
Cabin crew. Cabin crew prepare for landing.
Approaching.
Notified.
2,
Landing checklist
7.
complete.
We got lucky there. We're just out of a huge shower, as you can see. We're just in the clear. There's a shower just past the airport there, which would have been very nasty. So, all things being equal, we're fine. My aeroplane. slightly high. Correcting.
500. 400.
Wind pretty much down the runway now.
Approaching minimums.
Uphill runway, don't forget.
Minimums.
Land. 2 reds, 2 whites.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brakes out.
Ladies
Very
and
nice.
gentlemen, Midland Airlines welcomes you to Bristol. The local time is 5:29 p.m. For your safety and the safety of those around you, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and keep the aisle clear until we are parked at the gate. The captain will then turn off the fasten seatbelt sign, indicating it is safe to stand. Please use caution when opening the overhead compartments and removing items.
Quite a tricky one,
as articles may have
Bristol
shifted during
27,
flight.
because it's
The
uphill,
weather in
obviously.
Bristol is currently
There's that rain we
overcast
just
with a
missed.
temperature of 16 degrees Celsius.
Midland
or about
84
61
Victor,
degrees
welcome to
Fahrenheit.
Bristol.
Did you
Exit
know that
at Golf
Bristol
if
is
able.
known for its
Contact
iconic
ground on
London
121.9
and
of
its
3.
vibrant street art scene?
Ground 121.9 of 3, Midland 84 Victor.
On behalf of Captain Wake Vortex, First Officer Bill, and the entire crew, Brian, Melanie, Abby, and myself, Erica, we thank you for flying with Midland Airlines. We hope you have a pleasant stay here or wherever your travels may take you.
There's the other thing we didn't mention about the announcements from the cabin crew there. They got my name right. Captain Wake Vortex. Absolutely brilliant. Again, something you can set in the app. Okay, we've vacated, so let's do our
Initiating after landing checks.
after landing checks, and we'll contact ground 12193. Now the rain's coming in now. Midland 84 Victor, request taxi to parking at Bristol.
Midland 84 Victor, taxi to parking via Golf.
Flow completed.
Taxi to parking via Golf, Midland 84 Victor. I hope that's been informative and hopefully enjoyable for you. I appreciate you joining me as always. We'll get parked up at the stand here. Don't forget, if you've got any questions about it, let me know. A lot going on there, but hopefully it all made some kind of sense. Parking is just past the control tower and first one on the left after there. Wow, we got very lucky with the weather there. We got a real clear spell. It's hammering it down now. Look at that. They weren't wrong about the heavy rain forecast. Wow. Not the most efficient wiper I've ever seen. One of my cars about as good as that. In other words, not good at all. Okay, so I think parking 1 is just here on the left. Very hard to see in these conditions. There we go, parking 1. There it is, just ahead of us there. There's our poor marshaller stuck out in the rain. Can barely see him, poor chap.
Golf Kilo Echo Contact Tower on 136.08.
Contact tower 136.08. Kilo Echo.
There we go. And we're done. Parking brake is set. And we'll have the shutdown flow.
Shutting the
Bristol
aircraft
ground,
down.
Golf Charlie Bravo Charlie Papa, British Warrior check.
Lovely to hear all those multiplayer with real people in Bristol. Very, very immersive. Hope you enjoyed that.
Golf Charlie Bravo Charlie Papa, Bristol ground, understood. Information, November is current.
Thank you for joining us as always. We'll see you again soon for another stream or YouTube. And don't forget, if you've got any questions, put them in the YouTube list there. And don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel. Thank you, and we'll speak again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.